Let's start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. We will start tonight's meeting. Mayor Cox is not here, so I am going to be filling in as president of the Board of Aldermen tonight. Mayor's report, there's nothing there, but Tricia, would you like to give us the city administrator's report, please?
Sure. So sales tax numbers just came in for last month, and they are $15,500 over the same month last year, which still keeps us at the 17% increase year to date. So that is still looking very good. I wanted to let the public know that there is a fee on their utility bill. It's called a primacy fee. It's for the public water, drinking water system. It is a state fee that we collect for them once a year, and it's based on meter size. And it's being increased this year for the first time since for the 10 years I've been with the city. And so if they notice that, it'll be on their bill that goes out this month, due February 15th. And for most people, residents, it was just a $3 fee that's increasing to $5.28. Again, that's just an annual fee. The larger meters increased much more significantly. Between 1 and 2 inches is $21, 2 to 4 is $102, and greater than 4, I'm not sure if we have any of that large, but they're $198. So just want to make people aware of that. Also, we really thought natural gas rates were going to be a concern this winter. Obviously, for a long time, it's been much warmer than expected. But those rates, the cost actually of the natural gas itself has held really steady the last 3 months. So our rates are going to reflect that as well. December was $1.33 per CCF. January was $1.34 per CCF, and next month we've already got those numbers, and that'll be $1.34 as well. So that's holding really steady, which is good for people's billing. And I want to update you on the Transportation Advisory Committee. We had talked about that a couple different times a month or more ago, and we had local meetings, and I gave you the results of those, but I wanted to let you know how our Gascon 8 County projects, where they fell in the whole 8 county scheme of things with MRPC. The only project that made it into the high priority category was the one from Owensville, which was the safety concerns about the entrance to their school there on the junction of Highway 28 and 19. Everything else that Gascon 8 County proposed all fell into the low category for the 8 county district, including our sidewalk project. So I'm going to let you know that. Those always have an opportunity year to year to move up in priority. And I'll let you know that our semi-annual financial report, we're mandated by law to print that twice a year in the local newspaper. So that will be published, should be in the paper next Wednesday. There is a lot of in-house activity and administrative activity going on here in City Hall related to the calendar year end, including processing the W-2s and the 1099s and various financial reports that Tammy Ellis, our financial clerk, is working very hard on. And so right here, we're at the 6 month, just past 6 months in our fiscal year budget. So I will be meeting with department heads here in the very near future just to review their budgets, to see if they're on track, and especially take a good look at their capital projects and see where those all stand. This week I have a few meetings. Chamber meeting is tomorrow. There's an HRED meeting tomorrow too. I can't attend because it's the same time as the chamber this month. Tammy Bergerhoff will be there though. MRPC meeting I'll be attending by Zoom, and our annual MIRMA audit is Thursday. And then next week is the quarterly utility advisory board and a P&Z meeting. Our election ballot, obviously the The filing deadline has come and gone, and I will be taking our ballot to the county clerk for certification this week. And I think that is all that I needed to say.
Thank you. Public Works, Jesse Gelbs.
So the street department has moved a bunch of cinders from the industrial park to the recycle center for the winter time, get everything ready for snow or ice if we get it. Obviously they were out when we had the ice the other week. As far as I know, everybody's pretty happy with how streets were. I think they're pretty well done with the leaf pickup, but they just finished that up. It obviously went a little bit later in the year than normal because of the late fall. Right now they're doing street sweeper maintenance. Patched some potholes on Stone Hill Highway and Jefferson Street. And then obviously with Washington Street, every time they're getting a tap or something tapped there for the water department, they're coming back behind them and patching that. Parks Department has been picking up leaves in the park. They've been cleaning out the basement of the JC Pavilion. They've started taking the dirt from around the pavilions, kind of scraping that down and putting that along the levee where the road was kind of killing two birds with one stone there, getting water shedding off those pavilions better, and then also building up along the road. The gas department has been working on water leaks here and there. We've had a couple main breaks. We had one employee that finished his water class a couple weeks ago. They've been doing some water services there on Washington. A lot of you guys have probably seen that. Been working with Van Deventer on some lift stations, and they've been doing their annual corrosion surveys. The electric department has finished up some stuff in the Washington Street easement off of 16th Street, kind of across the creek. Put some new underground in up there. Made some secondary repairs in the Stark Boulevard easement. We got some street lights in finally. You guys might have noticed there's some more bright intersections now. Got dark there for a while, we couldn't get lights. And then services and AMR upgrades. As far as on the public works kind of overall thing, had one of the guys from the water department, one of the guys from the electric department go over to the airport and clean up some brush to address some of the FAA concerns from their last report. That all got done. They did a really good job. Shouldn't have to mess with it for a really long time. The Freeing Creek Gas Project, I know you guys probably got that memo on that. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. As far as, kind of what's going on there, we've got, the creek bank is eroded, and we've got to make the repairs to get that line back in the ground. It had to be an engineered deal.
Is that where the sidewalk on the west side of the bridge kind of caving in?
Well, no, it's up the creek from there, so it's almost at the intersection of 3rd Street and Gutenberg, where the high pressure gas line goes through. So that's in the works. Obviously, you guys will be getting some stuff on that to pass through, so you can get that addressed. Kind of talked some things over with the engineers and Todd the other week. We've kind of thrown some stuff, shuffled some stuff around on what we had planned to repair streetwise this year. We got that first round, that was ARPA money, wasn't it? That first round of ARPA money, and we can use that for stormwater, water, or wastewater. So we can use that for some of the stormwater work that we were going to do on Washington. And instead of trying to do that over 2 years, that's going to kind of allow us to, we're thinking we'll be able to pave Washington this budget year. We use the ARPA money for the curb and gutter that we were going to use the 7/8 sales tax for, and kind of do some shuffling, but we'll get some more details to you on that as we kind of finalize that idea. But we know that's a hot button issue, and that street, I mean, it's a main thoroughfare in town, so if we can get it done, we ought to. We've got bids out for the cure and place pipe for the sewer department, and other than that, if you guys don't have any questions, that's all I had.
On the culvert repair, is that going to be, I know what they're doing, but is that going to hold up to floods? And then is that?
So that, it's not a culvert, it's a high pressure pipe. So it's about a 6-inch pipe, and then they're gonna take and backfill around that with some fill that the engineers have kind of specified this is what you have to use. And then they've got, my understanding is it's basically a mat that's lashed together of concrete, and they'll lay that mat over what they fill there, and it's supposed to hold up to floods. Now, I'm not gonna make you guys any promises. I've seen water do some pretty crazy things. It's definitely gonna be better than what we got now, and that does come out of the commission money. That doesn't come out of the city money. So that's just so everybody knows that's the case. So.
I might just mention that Jesse and I have requested that our engineers start coming and meeting with us on a bi-monthly basis. So we're really thinking that's going to keep things on task and keep these projects moving ahead. So we're excited to get some things rolling.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
All right, public comments. Do we have any? We'll go on to ordinances. The first ordinance is Bill number 2022-01, an ordinance to approve a joint cooperation agreement by and between the City of Hermann, Missouri, and the City of Middletown for operation and maintenance of a natural gas distribution system. Can you explain that one?
So as you all know, Middletown is a small little town that years ago we took on when we bought the gas system from USDI, took on these maintenance issues for that little town and their gas billing. And so their original contract, it had not been updated in years. And there were some things in here that were like just static numbers that had gotten really stale and outdated. And so we've given you the draft copy with color coding. The yellow is some updated insurance information that Hermann is asking us to include in our contracts. And then you'll see in blue are some of the places where we changed dollar amounts. And those are based on the consumer price index, like on, these aren't actually numbered, are they? But item number 3A. And then there was another place that had some really static, stale numbers in it. And we determined that the best way to approach it would just be to base it on labor, time, and material, rather than trying to pin it down to an exact number, which we have to update every couple of years. And under item 12E, there you see a bunch of blue crossed out there for some different equipment, some hourly rates for equipment. Same thing there. Jesse suggested that, again, instead of those static numbers, that we actually use and be consistent with using the FEMA schedule for those items. So that's really all that is, and we were hoping just to read it one time tonight and then send this draft to Middletown and let their board review it and vote on it before we gave it a second vote at the following meeting, hopefully.
Any questions or discussion?
Nope.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I move to approve. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We will move on to the next one, Bill number 2022-02, an ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of municipal services contract between the City of Hermann, Missouri and Michael Fleet. Would you talk about that one for us, please?
Sure. As you all know, we've been seeking a building inspector due to our current building inspector, Lee Regal, his retirement date that he gave us as of February 28th will be his last day. And so we have been advertising, and Michael, we are highly recommending Michael. He comes with 30 years experience in general contracting, and Lee interviewed with this gentleman with Corey and I as well, and so we are recommending him. And because it's a contracted position, it's not a traditional hire as an employee. The way we're hiring him is by approving the contract. And so the contract verbiage is exactly the same contract as we had with Lee Regal. The only difference is a very slight increase in pay. And if we could, in order to get Michael up and running and the ability for him to train with Lee, we would love to get this read twice tonight and get it approved so that he could give proper notice to his employer and start training February 1.
questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And then we'll read it again. Bill number 2022-02, an ordinance authorizing and directing the execution of a municipal services contract between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Michael Fleege.
Move to approve 2022-2, second read.
Second.
Make a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That one carries too. So we'll move on to resolutions. We have resolution number 1314, a resolution to authorize the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Clean State Revolving Fund Program for an engineering grant under the Missouri Clean Water Law. Will you talk about that one, please?
So I have the memo from Archer here. If you want to fill in any gaps I leave, you can. So this basically is in regards to the ballpark lift station. You know, it's been obviously long in need of being moved ideally, but that will be like a very expensive project. And so the first thing we have to do, we are hoping that we could get some ARPA funds for it. But the very first phase, in order to get ARPA funds, they're only considering, or excuse me, for this particular grant, they want basically work-ready projects. They want you to have your engineering plans in order. And the engineering plans themselves are expensive and we had it budgeted for. So there is a grant for the engineering. And then when you have the engineering, then you can apply for the actual grant itself. So this is the first of a multi-step process. This is just for the engineering portion of what that ballpark lift station upgrade might involve. Did I do okay?
You did really
All
good.
right.
All right. Any discussion or question?
Nope. I move the resolution 1314 be approved.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Resolution is approved. Old business, does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss? Okay. New business? Anything? Jim? Any new business? No? I have one. There have been some people complaining about dogs running at large. Marlon, would you be able to explain what our policy is when dogs are at large, what people need to do if they have a problem?
Yeah,
Why don't you come up here, please?
see if I can hear you on the microphone.
And you want to be on TV, so. Well, thank you.
Generally, if someone calls in about a dog at large during the business hours, if they have the dog retained, we usually get a street crew up there, they have the cage and things. We take it out to the Hermann Vet Clinic where it's held at until the owner comes and picks it up. At that time, the vet notifies us of the owner. We usually issue a written warning the first time. After that, they receive a summons. After that, each time they have to appear in court on the charge of dog at large. If it's after hours, if they don't have the dog caught, we'll try and locate the dog ourselves and try and get to the vet clinic. Sometimes we can't catch the dogs because they're running and we just can't catch them. Sometimes they go back home and we can locate them and speak to the owner there and give them a written warning. After that, they get a summons. So that's most of the time. That's how we handle it. If we have a dog at large, is just try and locate it and get it taken out to the vet clinic as soon as we can.
Okay, so if someone has a problem, they just need to call and
Just
we'll do our
call
best.
Do our best to catch it. Sometimes we just can't because they just run all over and too fast to catch it.
They are. Thank you. And with the weather the way it is too, we all need to take care of our pets. Don't let them out there if it's too cold. Next up are the minutes. Is there any discussion on the minutes, any changes or something we need to talk about on them?
Make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
All right. Motion carries. Invoices for payment.
Motion approved, paid bills.
Second.
Okay, those in favor, yeah? Okay. And then next up is what our Public Works Director was talking about earlier, the Frank Creek Gas Main Stabilization. And we need to approve that bid.
Move to approve the bid.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next is hiring Ken Hayner as gas, water, and wastewater technician.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then our annual MIRMA insurance renewal. Just so that the public knows, Trish, could you talk about that, explain that a little bit?
Sure. We are part of a risk management group for our insurance, a self-insurance pool, and they cover such things as our general liability, all of our property coverage, workers' comp, the airport, heavy equipment, all auto liability, errors and omissions, and cyber liability. And so annually we update all of our schedules with them and answer a whole bunch of renewal questionnaires. And they provided the best price, especially when you're with them so long. A couple of years ago, we looked at some other things that they couldn't compete. So we always get a really good price for them. Our rates are based on our claims in a year. There are a lot of things that contribute to our rate. But one of them, of course, is our claim experience. I am anticipating, several years ago, we had peaked at that highest level, and then we were on the downhill trend again, and now I think we've got some recent claims, it's probably climbing a bit again. But yes, if you could just approve that for us, that'd be great.
Yes. And then we also need to say that the city does do training and safety things to help keep us all safe and to help work to keep those rates low too.
Yes, thank you, that's absolutely true.
All right, so would someone like to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that carries. And then next we have a conditional use renewal permit for Stomp and Grounds Espresso Bar LLC, James and Beth Walker, for outdoor liquor consumption.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Reports, we really don't have any reports. Anyone else have anything? All right, then I would like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, and everybody have a safe and good week. Motion? Motion?
Oh, motion.
Motion?
Make a motion to meeting adjourned.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is adjourned. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Roll tide.
Roll call, that's right.
I was waiting for you to stop, didn't make the motion, and
I'm excited about the game.